Hello there everybody, welcome to another QML tutorial. This is Joseph. Since my last tutorials, when we were at about Qt 5.0, things have progressed quite rapidly as we are almost at Qt 5.8 at the date of this recording. There's been a lot of things that have been added, some things removed, but we're gonna maybe make some of the newer stuff and some of the stuff that I didn't cover in my other tutorials. So in this tutorial we're going to talk about dialogues. So let's just go ahead and get started. So we're going to create a new QtQuick application. We're going to say dialogues, and next. I do not want a UI file. We will get into that later on, and we're going to say that the minimum version is 5.5. Next, and for my desktop, next, no version control, finish. Okay, so we're presented with our regular old thing that we're used to. Let's just get rid of all of this. Now let's go ahead and import QtQuick controls, which I haven't done a thing on, which will be coming very soon. And let's also import QtQuick.Dialogs. Okay, so first things first, let's make a button. And let's make the width of this button parent width. Let's say text open dialog. Okay, now let's start out. There's multiple different types of dialogues, but we're going to start out with the most simplest one, which is just a straight up old dialog. Now by default the visibility of this is not true, so it's false, and but let's make a ID and we'll say simple dialog. Now let's set a title to our dialog, which, well, let's not actually. Let's just make some text now to the dialog, okay? And let's make the text say hello there. Okay, so let's run this. And we have this, and when we click on it, nothing happens because we have no onClicked statement. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll say onClicked. We'll say simple dialog dot open. Call the function there. Alright, so now we have this. When we click on it, we get this dialog right here, and the title is, this is the title right here where it says dialogues there. There's our text, and then we have this OK button right here. And if we click on the OK button, it goes away. Let's get more into that. So first of all, let's set our title. Okay, now let's set the buttons that we've seen there before. So how we do that is we say standard buttons, and then get out of the way thing. Let's move this up here so maybe they'll stay out of the way. And we'll say standard button dot, let's say OK, and let's also add a standard button that is for cancel. Spelling today. And we click on OK, and then we have a cancel button now, and we have an OK button. We click on OK, and it goes away. Now let's add also in here, let's add a standard button that is yes. So let's save and run this. Open the dialog, and we have cancel, OK, and yes. Alright, so now let's talk about interacting with those buttons. So we can, the first one that we were using was on accepted. So let's take a look at that. Let's say on accepted. We'll say let's say Qt.Quit. So we want to quit the application on accepted. So let's go ahead and open it up, and if we hit cancel, it just closes it. If we hit OK, it closes the application because that's accepted. So what else can we do? We can say on yes, we can say this close. So what we're trying to do here is close this, which this is the dialog, right? So I could have said simple dialog.close. Open and cancel just closes it, and yes closes it, and OK kills it. Now let's say on, what is it, cancel? On rejected is for canceled, and we will say this close, and we will say let's give our ID to this button here. Let's say btn text equals just closed. Save and run. Open it up. We get our dialog right here, and we hit cancel, and now just closed happens. We go open, we hit yes, just closed is still there. We hit OK, and it cancels everything out. Very nice. Let's run it again just to make sure that on yes works correctly. We click this, on yes closes it, still open dialog, open up, cancel, just closed. Okay. Well, there's also another thing called content. I think it's a content item, right? So this is going to be all the children that are underneath this, right, in the dialog. So if I wanted to say rectangle, maybe. Oh, geez. And we'll encapsulate everything. This would be the content item of the dialog. So when we open this up, now we have this guy right here, and you'll notice that our buttons are gone because we have declared that we have our own content item and we're not going to be using it. We can take that away. Open it up, and we're back to the regular old dialog. Now let's do this. Let's bring it back, and then we can comment out our buttons. But let's put a button right here. We'll say column, anchor, fill, parent. And now we will put a button right here, and we'll say the text is yes, and we will say on clicked, and we will say simple dialog dot yes. There we go. Open dialog. There we go. Now instead of yes, we could put rejected. Open. Yes. Just closed. So that's kind of how we can make our own content for our dialog and so on and so forth. Let's clean all this up. Well, I am Joseph. I hope you found this video educational about the simple dialog. Next we'll be moving on to message dialogs and color dialogs and file picker dialogs and so on and so forth. Anyways, be nice to everybody out there.